everybody. I hope you guys are all having an awesome day. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm actually gonna scoot you guys a little bit closer here. Let's see if I can see you guys. Let's see who's out there. Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Sonara Brown, and this is kind of a spontaneous little cooking demo for you. And tonight I decided, a lot of people out there maybe don't know what they're having for dinner tonight. Let's show some people. So tonight we're gonna do some Asian lettuce wraps. So some of you are new to my group and you've never heard of Epicure before. If you are one of those people, we are an all-natural food company. The whole concept of Epicure is quick, easy, healthy dinners. And when I talk to people who just don't like putting dinner on the table, okay, so let me tell you, there's people that fall into two camps, right? There are the people that just love to cook. They love to cook. It brings them a lot of joy. They like going on Pinterest, finding new recipes, trying new things. Okay, those are what I call the gold star people, okay? Then there's the people that are more like me. Cooking is just not my favorite thing to do. It feels like, a waste of my life. It feels like at 5:30 or 6, it's just not something I want to be doing. I want to be relaxing and getting on with my evening. Maybe I want to binge some Netflix, right? Definitely don't want to be spending 45 minutes in the kitchen. So when I talk to people that say they don't enjoy cooking, it's typically one of three things that people don't enjoy. The first is they are in what I call a meal rut, right? They're tired of making the same 5 dinners over and over and over. That's the first reason. The second reason people typically don't like getting dinner to the table and end up at like Qdoba or Chick-fil-A is because they're just plain lazy. And I don't say that with any judgment because I definitely fall into that category. Just plain don't want to do it, right? At 6:30 at night, it's just kind of like the last thing that you want to be doing, right? And the third reason that people don't like cooking is typically they're just not ready for it. They're not prepared. They will say, I actually don't mind throwing a decent meal together, but I'm driving home from work, or because of COVID, I'm working from home and I'm on my last conference call and I'm thinking, okay, what are we gonna have for dinner tonight? And I'm trying to picture what's in my fridge. I don't have any meat that's thawed. We're totally not ready. So I send my husband a text and I say, just order a pizza. Right? Sound familiar? Well, all of that gets overpriced, super expensive, not healthy. You're definitely not living your best life when you're doing that all the time. So in comes Epicure. So like I said, all natural food company, no chemicals, dyes, preservatives, no MSG or fillers, low or no sodium, low or no sugar, no high fructose corn syrup. It's an awesome product line. And they make cooking easy with the perfect marriage of 2 products, 2 concepts. So the first is their Epicure like meal solutions, right? Like, oh, pulled pork. Everything I need to make that taste delicious is in here. I'll just dump it into a crock pot. Or sweet garlic chicken. Awesome. I'm just gonna take some chicken thighs and some sweet potatoes and put it in a bowl and dump this whole packet in there and toss it and put it on a sheet pan. Done. Or sweet and sour stir fry. Awesome. I'm just gonna saute some chicken, dump this in there with some Asian vegetables from the freezer section and put some rice on and boom, I've got a stir fry, right? Okay, so they have these easy meal solutions that take all the guesswork out, and then they have what I call their time-saving cookware. Time-saving cookware meaning I'm gonna speed up the time that it takes me to make this meal. So tonight we're actually gonna do that. We're gonna use this multi-purpose steamer to make some lettuce wraps. So this is our, like I said, it's a multi-purpose steamer. It is a food-grade silicone. It is BPA-free, totally non-leaching, totally safe. Dishwasher safe, oven safe, microwave safe, obviously. The only place where you can't use our silicone is in the broiler, under the broiler, in the oven, under the broiler. But otherwise, it's great. So tonight we're gonna make lettuce wraps using this. Our multi-purpose steamer comes with this great little rack inside. I do use this rack depending on what I'm making. Let's say I wanted to have 2 or 3 salmon fillets in here. I'd put this little rack on top, put my fresh broccoli on top, put the whole thing in the oven, and I would steam that entire meal. My salmon would be flaky and perfect. My broccoli would be steamed to perfection, right? sometimes I use this like for breakfast. Maybe I'm cooking bacon. I'm gonna put this on top. I'm gonna take a pound of bacon, half a pound, whatever you need to do, cut it in half and just layer it on here. Put this in my microwave, and in about 2.5, 3 minutes, I have perfectly crispy bacon. So I do use the tray that comes with this quite a bit, but I'm just not gonna use it right now. So let's see, let's get going here. So we are going to use our multi-purpose steamer to make the lettuce wraps. So let me just make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm just gonna use plain ground beef. Usually when I do my lettuce wraps, I do ground turkey, but I didn't have any ground turkey in my refrigerator or freezer today, so no problem. Just gonna use some ground beef. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is put it in my steamer. So there we go. And then what I do is I take my ground meat separator. This is, if not my favorite tool, one of my favorite tools from this product line. And I just break it up a little bit, because right now how you can see it's like in a big tube. So I'm just gonna break it up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cook it for about 2.5 minutes, which is just long enough to get it like 3/4 of the way cooked and let all the grease out. So let me pop this in my microwave for 2.5 minutes, and then I'll explain what I mean by that. Okay, so 2 minutes, 30 seconds started. Okay, so when you cook on your, let's say you're doing tacos or sloppy joes or the lettuce wraps, right? And you're gonna cook your ground beef. Typically you do it on your stove, right? You do it on your stove. And as you are cooking, steam is coming up, right? It's venting. It's why we turn on the overhead vent when we're cooking, so that our kitchen doesn't get all steamed up, right? That's the steam that's inside the food, whether it be boneless, skinless chicken breast, the salmon fillet, ground beef, ground turkey, peppers, onions, whatever you're cooking that is either produce or a vegetable, those things have like water or liquid in their DNA, in their cells, I guess that's the better way to say it, right? So when you're cooking in your steamer, all of that steam has nowhere to go. It stays trapped in there. That is how you can cook something in minutes in your microwave. It's a lot like your Instapot works. Think about it. Your Instapot, right? It creates a seal. It's like a pressure, and there's a little tiny bit of venting that goes on, right? This has a little tiny bit of venting. I'll show you. There's 3 tiny little holes on the top, but for the most part, the steam is all trapped in there. That steam creates heat, and that heat is what cooks the food. So that's what's cooking the ground beef right now. So I'm avoiding all the splatter on the back of my stove. I'm avoiding the grease. I'm just actually cutting all that time off. You know, normally if I'm making even like a Taco Tuesday, it's gonna take me 15 minutes, whereas this will take me, 3 minutes. So what I do is I usually cook the ground beef to about the 3/4 point, and then I drain off the grease, and then I add my seasoning. Now, if you add your seasoning right away, you can do that, but the problem is that when you go to drain the ground beef, you're draining the seasoning away with that liquid and grease, right? So I don't want to do that. I don't want to water down my seasonings at all. So that's what I do. So for this particular Asian lettuce wraps, we are going to use our Asian stir-fry seasoning. Also great in a skillet, sauteing chicken with some veggies. This Asian stir-fry seasoning is excellent. And so that's gonna be what we use to season the ground beef. And then we're gonna use sesame ginger to make a dressing for the little cabbage slaw. I buy this little Green Giant broccoli slaw at the grocery store. It's pre-cut. If you wanna go through the effort of shredding your carrots and all that kind of stuff, you can do that. But this is part of how I make dinner in 3 minutes, okay? I've got my broccoli slaw, and all I do is make a quick dressing for it. And then I use our chipotle seasoning, and I make an aioli. And an aioli is just a fancy word for a mayonnaise. So when I have my meal, I've got my lettuce, and I put my aioli on top, and then I put my ground beef, and then I finish it with the broccoli slaw, and it's beautiful, and it takes minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out of the microwave. and show you what this looks like. Okay, so taking off the lid, and do you see all that steam that came off? This is probably 2/3 of the way cooked. So here's what I do. I take this and I just break it up. Remember how I talked about this ground meat separator? It's a perfect tool whether you're cooking on a skillet on your stovetop or you are cooking in your steamer. You want to be able to break up the ground beef. This tool is 10 times more effective than the wooden spoon that you're using. That I can guarantee you. Okay, so I'm gonna show this to you guys. It is darn near totally brown. There's just the tiniest hint of pink, and I'm actually cool with that because remember, we're gonna add our seasoning. So I wanna show you how I get the grease out of here. So what I do, so there you can see the ground beef. I go like this. I fold it like a little taco, and I go like this. And that's about it. Okay. A couple little pieces fell in. I'm gonna fish them out. No problem. Okay. There's the grease that I don't want in my ground beef, right? Now, some of you will say, I wouldn't drain that off. That's where all the flavor is. That's awesome. You're welcome to do that. So here I've got almost perfectly cooked ground beef. Now, what would you do at this point? I've been talking to you, which is why this is taking longer, but if you're keeping tabs here, so far we're at 2 minutes and 30 seconds on this dinner, right? So one option would be, it's Taco Tuesday, kids. Dump this in with a little bit of liquid as per instructions, put it back in for another minute, and you're done, okay? But we're actually not gonna do that. Remember, we're doing the Asian stir fry. So I look at the back of this and it will tell me, there's always a recipe on the back. But having made this a number of times, and by the way, you can also go to epicure.com for more recipes, I know that I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons in here. So I'm gonna use this. This is our all-in-one measuring spoon. If you don't have one of these, this is a really great tool. Also makes a great little stocking stuffer or hostess gift. So what I do, this has all the measurements you need in one. So whether it's a tablespoon, a teaspoon, flip it over, 1/2 and 1/4. Awesome. So you don't have all of those loose sets in your drawer. But I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna put it in here. 1, 2. Now, I'm using 2 because it's ground beef. And ground beef is takes a little bit more to season. If I were using ground turkey, I would probably use a little bit less, to be honest, but you can't screw this up. You just do it to taste. The only other thing that I add is, I do add a little bit of salt. One of the things that I have learned about our product line is because it's a low sodium product line, oftentimes my personal palate for salt exceeds what Epicure has added. So I do a couple cracks, sounds like a lot, but I just probably put 1/2 teaspoon in there. And then I just kind of mix it up a little bit. And that's it. I'm gonna put the lid back on. Remember how I talked about those little vent holes? I'm gonna show you guys. See? Tiny little holes, that's where it vents from. All right, so literally 1 more minute and this is gonna be done. Okay, so the next steps are I'm gonna do my chipotle aioli and my cabbage sauce. So for the chipotle aioli, like I said, it's just mayonnaise. You are welcome to do sour cream or Greek yogurt. I personally cannot do dairy, so I love aiolis. They're something that I can actually have. So I've just got about 1/2 cup of mayonnaise in here. I'm going to take this chipotle seasoning, and it tells me to add 1 tablespoon into a cup of mayonnaise. I don't have quite a cup, so I'm not gonna add quite that much, but I'm gonna get pretty darn close because I like it spicier than not. So I put that in. And then the other thing that makes an aioli great, this one in particular, is a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice. So I just take, I'll save the rest of this for my cocktails. And I use our citrus press. This is another one of those little handy dandy tools that if you don't have, it's really nice to have. It doesn't matter how hard your lemon or lime are, you get all the juice out of it. So, hoping you guys can see this, right? Here we go. See, just like that. A little bit of lemon juice. And now, I'm just gonna rinse this off real quick. And that's it. Stir this up. And now this is the aioli that's gonna go on the leaf lettuce. Oh my goodness, I wish you guys could smell this. You really smell that chipotle. Now, if I had wanted to make, like I always have fresh jalapenos in my refrigerator, I could have chopped up some jalapenos and put them in with the ground beef to really spice it up. But I'm also cognizant of the fact that I'm not the only one eating this tonight, so I don't want to make it too spicy. Okay, so that's done. And now I'm just gonna quickly make the sesame ginger dressing. So our sesame ginger dressing is amazing. I could literally drink it from the bottle. It's so delicious. This comes obviously as a dry seasoning, like all of our dressings are, and you're just gonna add oil and vinegar. And the type of oil and vinegar that you add will change based on what you're making. So like for example, our balsamic vinaigrette dressing calls for olive oil and a little bit of balsamic vinegar, right? This one calls for a little bit of soy sauce, oil, and some rice vinegar. So to not bore you to tears, I just took the liberty of measuring that out before we got started. This is just soy sauce, oil, and a little bit of rice vinegar. And then, according to the instructions, it calls for 2 tablespoons for a cup of dressing. Well, I'm not making a cup of dressing. I'm only making half a cup because I am not going to need to use this entire package for dinner for us tonight, right? I only have 2 of my 3 kids home tonight, so it's just my husband and my son Daniel. So we're gonna make a smaller portion, which is what I love about Epicure, is that you can scale everything. So once again, I'm just gonna put this in. By the way, the greatest thing about this spoon is that it fits into all of these jars and any of the jars that you may have from other spice companies that you may have, which is great. So I put that in, and I'm just gonna whisk it up. And that's it. One of the questions that I frequently get asked is, Sanara, at what point would this, do you feel like it needs to go in the fridge? Does it need to set for 15 minutes? Honestly, it doesn't. Usually by the time 3 or 4 minutes is all it needs. So usually by the time I've got everything set up and I've got my little buffet ready to go, it's ready. So what do? I just take a bowl, and like I said, I'm only gonna use about half of this. Yeah, it's about half. So I just have it there, and then I just pour this in. And that is it. So here. And then I just mix it up just like that. So now this is ready to go. It only needs to soak in there for seriously 2 or 3 minutes, and then it's just really flavorful. So to recap, right? I've got my ground beef right here. Let's check it out. Ah, perfect. So let me just see. I thought I had a spoon here. Maybe not. Let me just grab this one. Okay. So I just stir that around. Again, I wish you guys could smell this. It's totally ready to go. So how do I assemble this meal now? So it's quite simple. So I'll start by saying, sometimes my middle son who's home tonight, he's a senior in high school, he's a football player, and he's about 225 or 30 pounds. And he would have to eat 18 of these to be full. So I always have, he needs more carbs. So I usually have pitas for him. But otherwise for me, I love it. These little lettuce wraps as is. So I just go like this. So right now, by the way, if I weren't talking, we'd be 4 minutes in and I'd be hollering for everyone to come down for dinner. 4 minutes. And I didn't dirty any of my stove, any of the backsplash. All I did was I dirtied my multi-purpose steamer and a couple little bowls, and that is it. So this is how I make these. I take this, just like this, and I put this on almost as if this were, I don't know, a burger, and that were the mayonnaise on the bread. And then I take my meat, I'm gonna put it on top like that. And then, try it. So good. And then I just take a little bit of this. And that's it. Finishing touch, so delicious. This meal went together in 3 minutes. This could have been tacos, could have been sloppy joes. I could have taken boneless, skinless chicken breast, cut it into strips, a pepper and an onion, cut them into strips, put them in there, and added our fajita seasoning and made fajitas and pulled out the tortillas and had an awesome meal. You will be shocked at what you can make in your steamer. Rice, quinoa, pasta, ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey, boneless, skinless chicken breast. You can put an entire rotisserie chicken, like the whole bird, the whole naked bird, take a lemon, put it into the cavity, put the lid on top, and you can make an entire rotisserie chicken in about 18 minutes in your microwave. And it is steamed perfection. It is not remotely dry. It's amazing. So, for those of you that are brand new to Epicure and you maybe don't know where to start because you've never made a single purchase before, I'm a mom of 3 teenagers. I have everything, but I will tell you the things that are just, for me, the must-haves. The first is the multi-purpose steamer, right? That goes without saying. Now, we actually have like a little bundle. It's called Steamy Dinners. Steamy Dinners. And what you get is you get your multi-purpose steamer and you get 3 meals to go with it for only $2 more. So these meals only end up being about 75, 80 cents a piece. It's such a steal. You get the home style chicken stew. Can you guys see that? Probably not. Home style chicken stew. You get the speedy lasagna, which, by the way, if you want to watch, in the same group, I made speedy lasagna in the steamer like a little bit less than a week ago, right? So you can see me actually do that in the steamer. And then you get the African sweet potato stew, which for some of you might sound a little bit strange and maybe too adventurous, but it's just delicious. It's got a really super mild curry flavor, not spicy at all. Sweet potatoes, I made it with ground sausage. It's delicious. So that's called Steamy Dinners. And it's like, I tell people, don't ever buy the steamer. Don't buy the multi-purpose steamer by itself. Get the Steamy Dinners because you get the 3 meals with it for just a couple bucks more. Okay. The other thing that is this is my personal favorite. We have a product right now that is called Merry Month of Meals. You're gonna wanna type that into the search bar. Merry Month of Meals. And basically what it is a month of meals. It is a full month of meals completely mapped out for you with shopping lists and everything. You also get some bonus desserts, right? You get our gingerbread with our caramel icing to go on top. Delicious, okay? But most importantly, meals. You get the meals. So you're gonna get some favorites, some things that you're maybe already making, like maybe sloppy joe or mac and cheese. That's probably something that you're making already. Maybe you're making, let's see, what else might be a staple? Tacos. Tacos. That's a staple that maybe you're already making, right? You'll also get some what I call family favorites, things like shepherd's pie. Pulled pork is a favorite. Southern baked. This is like the old school shake and bake that your mom used to make when you were growing up, you know, where you put the chicken thighs or the chicken drumsticks or even boneless, skinless chicken breast into a bag and you shake it with all this. Shake and bake, right? Wings, everybody loves wings. I just made these on Sunday for the Packer game, right? You get some great soups and stews, like the home-style chicken stew or minestrone, or there's a great one called Azteca tortilla soup, which is amazing. You get stir fries, right? So for instance, beef and broccoli, General Tao, or sweet and sour, right? These are things that you probably aren't making right now. You probably are calling for Chinese takeout and getting these. And you know what? You're paying probably between $8 and $10 a person. Like when we do takeout for our family, it's $65, right? Well, I can make that same beef and broccoli for my whole family for about $8, literally. So, and everything that makes that beef and broccoli taste good is in here. All you have to do is get like your beef and your broccoli and your rice. Everything is here, right? Pasta dishes like tuna casserole. Now, funny, tuna casserole is one of those things where sometimes people hear, ooh, tuna casserole. It could be chicken casserole. It could be salmon casserole. It could be shrimp casserole. It doesn't have to be tuna per se, but the flavor of this sauce is out of this world. Or beef stroganoff. Beef stroganoff is one of those things that you probably don't make. Maybe you get it at restaurants or Noodles and Company or something like that. Dishes that are a little bit out of your probably normal repertoire, like this one, for instance, the tandoori chicken curry. It's a medium heat curry. I'd call it mild to medium, right? So the point is that Merry Month of Meals, if you are somebody who even once a week says, I have no idea what we're making for dinner. If you are even once a week, like under duress, calling for takeout or getting food from Qdoba or sending your kids to Subway, okay? You want the Merry Month of Meals. It's only $2.25 per serving. It gets you totally out of the rut from making the same things over and over and over. It's our best value because it allows you to try an entire 30 different meals, right? And you get a grocery list by week. So you can, wherever you shop, whether it be Pick and Save or Kroger's or whatever, you can go right online, order your groceries, pick them all at once, and you are set. You've got your 5 things that you're making that week. Your groceries are in-house, and you're ready to go. So I hope that this has been helpful for all of you guys. You know, dinner does not have to be a pain in the butt. It doesn't have to be a mystery. It doesn't have to be expensive. And I get it. Some people will say, I just don't want to think about it, Sonara. It's the least favorite part of my day. And to that, I say, I get it. I hear you. Outsource that thinking. Let somebody else organize it for you. So, Merry Month of Meals, a multi-purpose steamer, steamy dinners, by the way, and you're going to be set. You will cruise through the entire rest of the year. I know the holidays are going to look a little bit different for a lot of us. We may or may not be having gatherings. You may not be going to the mall and doing your shopping and doing all the things that you want to do, but you're still going to want to have a relaxing December, and you're going to want to spend time with your family, and the last thing that you're going to want to be doing is thinking about dinner every night. So feel free to message me. You guys are all in this group. You can message me with any questions. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Have an awesome rest of the week, and tune in next week for another fun, exciting, easy meal. All right, bye guys.